Hello, Scorpio. Welcome back to Path of Enlightenment Tarot. For those of you returning to the channel, welcome back. And for those of you who are new, welcome. I am Nicole. Scorpio, this is a very interesting come to reading that I'm going to do for you this evening. So typically I would roll out a May reading. You could consider this for May. I don't think I'm going to title it that way, but I feel like there are very, very detailed messages once again coming in from Spirit. So Scorpio, this is for now, what you need to know. I will tell you, I feel like my guides are being extremely specific. I will say it's very late. I usually don't do readings at this hour, but I just feel so completely compelled by the way that Spirit is bringing in messages for me that I needed to sit down once again, like before, right now, and do this for you. So I'm going to have a very late night cup of coffee, go into these messages for you, and go from there. And you'll probably get another May reading anyhow, regardless, because I don't know that this is so much about a time frame as it is about the essence of you. Okay, so it's very important for you to understand that, I feel like. So Scorpio, typically I would say to you, your sun, your moon, your rising, and your Venus. Cross watcher, if that's you, welcome to the channel as well. Side note, Spirit is addressing to me. If you can't hear me, turn up the volume. Normal people are in bed. The rest of my household is, and I am up doing this. So there we go again. You guys get a very, very real version of me on the regular. So, but I would typically say sun, moon, rising, and your Venus. Cross watcher, blah, 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 right? Scorpio, I'm going to be honest with you. I really feel by the way this is coming in that this is going to affect your sun placement if you're a Scorpio, your moon placement because of the emotion. I will say rising signs, I do feel like it's going to affect some of you in certain ways. Venus placements, I think that yes, it will resonate because the entire scope of a lot of things are changing through this energy. On top of that, I would also say to you, check out your north and south node. Very, very important placements in that. So Scorpio, I made notes, forwarded them to myself because they were on my recording device so that I did not forget anything. But the energy that comes in with this is insane. Scorpio, it's like I've been putting the pieces together for the collective for some time, and I'm going to probably title this video the same as I'm about to say to you. Scorpio, I dare you to believe in yourself. Seriously. So I'm going to go over this for you guys. First and foremost, however I end up titling this, I have no idea. I have an idea, but not an idea. Scorpio, so here's the deal. You know, I think even in my own videos, I've titled them like, you know, your transformational moment, or we always hear like, we are the phoenix, we are rising from the ashes, we are transforming once again, it's the close of another cycle, the beginning of a new one. It almost becomes old to hear that. It's like, ooh, yay, when you have something really weighing on you, and then we hear it again next week, and next week, and next week. Right, I talked about those cycles of like a week, 2 weeks, something like that in the one of the videos recently. It's not just, Scorpio, about these cycles closing and opening. And, you know, I think in our tarot worlds, the way we decode that to you all, it comes out that way because we, you know, tend to keep it vaguer. You know, vaguer, is that a word? I have no idea. We tend to keep it vague because we're talking to so many people out there, right? It's the collective. Every person's situation, though, is very different. The emotion always leads back to the same thing. So, Scorpio, we talk about this transformation. Like, what exactly at this point does this fucking transformation mean? I mean, seriously, we've heard it so many times. We're changing, we're transforming, we're stepping into this new world, this new light, this new that. But what does it mean to you on an internal level? Because Scorpio, I sat outside 4:56 on the clock, on my balcony this evening after a very crazy day, and I was just ready for my 10 minutes to decompress and have my evening cup of coffee to rid myself of my caffeine headache that I've thoroughly induced on my own well-being here. And Spirit just started to spew to me, and I thought, oh, thank goodness. One, I've wanted to have that communication again with Spirit to that depth that they tend to go to with me. And I knew right then and there that I had to sit down tonight and do this for you. So Scorpio, you know, I remember hearing Spirit say, and I didn't write this down, I would say a very large part of you, collectively, dealing with long-term abandonment issues. Fear, isolation. Scorpio, you're I got the chills. Oh my goodness, I've got him so bad. You're waking up from the Matrix. Like, I'm gonna go pretty kind of maybe a little cattywampus compared to, yeah, some old school language there, right? Something your grandparents probably would have said. But really get out there and into this, because I feel like, again, this transformation, it's not just transformation and cycles changing. This is a complete deconstruction of the falsified beliefs around the person you thought you were. It runs so deep, and I'm not talking just your relationships. I'm not talking about just other people. I'm talking about the very story based on conditioning that you have told to yourself. Whatever is happening in the Scorpio collective, and again, massive chills down my arms and down my body. I don't know as a human being myself that I have real good answers to why the Scorpio collective seems to be so heavily impacted. But I will say this, the one thing that I keep seeing come up is that 144,000, 717 on the clock, those spiritual leaders marching their way, doing their thing, serving a purpose for the collective good. And Scorpio, I can't help but get this vision that Spirit's bringing into me of just paving the path, leading the way, exalting like everything around you. Scorpio, this is, again, all intuitive here, and I might pull out some cards. I don't know. We'll see. Scorpio, I want you to go back probably as far as you can remember, and I'm going to try to remember as close to word by word verbatim that I can from what Spirit gave me, and then where I started to make these notes and pick up from there, and we'll just kind of carry on. The idea, going back as far as you can remember to, I would say most of you probably had a person in your life, and it doesn't have to be a parent, who you were close to. And that person more than likely could have been on their own by themselves. It could have been an aunt, an uncle, a grandparent, good family friend, right? Any of the such. Everybody's dynamic is different. And in that, there was some type of close connection that draws you in. And I feel like for a lot of you, on an emotional level, this person represented some sort of stability. Like, you knew what you were likely going to get with this person. And there could have been a separate dynamic, whether you had split parents or parents that had been married for 50 years and grew up in that kind of home or whatever. No shade to any of those scenarios. That the love that you wanted, 9/11 on the clock, the love that you wanted, the love that you needed was lacking from somewhere else. This could have been maternal, paternal, siblings, grandparents, wherever it stems from. But when you look at the big picture, there's an abandonment wound. Growing up, again, for most of you, Scorpio, we tend to be perfectionist, very self-critical, very hard about how we get to where we're going and if we could have done better. I kind of feel like it's a little bit of a blueprint on our souls because we chose to step into this life as Scorpios and have to navigate the challenges that comes with that title of being a Scorpio. 1010, I swear to God, like I can't even, I'm looking up at the clock at random, right? Those numbers, they've been so significant for you guys for so long now. Anyways, so in that, you know, you become conditioned, I might be a little off course here, bear with me, conditioned to believe this falsified person of who you think you are or what you're becoming or what you're supposed to be based upon, in part, that blueprint that says, here, Scorpio, figure out how to be perfect. Here, Scorpio, be self-critical because you can do better than that. But I'm going to tell you that in this existence, this 3D world, this matrix, somebody else in that taught you those things. And then on top of that, what does the soul do? We find what's comfortable. What was comfortable to us? Meeting somebody, calling in those same exact souls, but with a different face, you know, same demon, different face kind of vibe, right? Scorpio, probably your entire life has been dealt with these types of situations, whether they're narcissistic, they could be co-workers, friends, family, relationships, acquaintances, people you just happen to cross paths with in one single night somewhere, and you can just see it all over their face. You know exactly who they are, and odds were you played nice with them because, oh, I know that devil. I know how to play with that devil, right? Scorpio, the thing with all of these people, all of these situations, they were projections on you, okay? Now, I know that I'm kind of missing some of what Spirit gave me that I didn't type down or write out. So bear with me here. When you deal with these kinds of people, relationships, families, whatever the dynamic, what you don't realize is how you become conditioned by these situations until it's like far too late. The wool has been pulled over your eyes, right? You're just like, oh, wait a minute. One day you wake up. Scorpio, guess what? You're waking up right now. You really are. You don't see it. You don't know it. I know that you feel something's coming, but you're waking up to some type of truth here. So let's just use this example. Maybe you had a grandparent who that's where you spent the majority of your time with. That's where you felt stability. Maybe your parents worked. Maybe your parent was a single parent. You know, who knows? So you have an older grandparent who is by themselves and you're there, so you help them and you do things with them and for them or whomever it might be. And they become a little reliant on you by way of love. And I will say, I do feel like there was genuine love to be had. There's part of that comfort. You got a taste. You got a taste of what love could be like. But there was also conditions based upon their lack of patience and their temperament. Very interesting dynamic. And I would say to you too, when you look back to, and I chills again, you look back to that time frame, that person versus probably one of the biggest challenges of your adult life, they might be the same sign. Very interesting. You're seeing the very positive side to a particular sign or individual, and then just the complete opposite as well. Very interesting when you think about it. So you grow up and deal with whomever this is, have genuine love for that person or situation, and then during that course of time, those abandonment wounds start. The fear starts. A lot of you could have dealt with parents, friends, siblings, schools, institutions. It doesn't even matter who it was. Then wanted nothing but top excellence from you. They wanted your very best that needed to exceed your very best day. It was always more. You could do more. You could be more. That's all you've got. Or when you did have successful accomplishments, they downplayed them. Well, that's nice. Good job. Leaving you feeling fucking empty. Maybe maybe one of you out there, what I'll say is, in my immediate family, I was the first one to graduate college. How about that one? On my mom's side, the first one to graduate high school. How about that one? And then when you do it, as the example here, maybe they say, well, good, you should have done that. Or, oh, that's all the better your GPA was. Or, oh, you only got into that school instead of this school. It was always something just coming up, just short, Scorpio, never being able to fully cross that threshold, that finish line. You should have gone a little bit further. You should have done a little bit more. So over the years, what this does to you is teaches you how to be self-critical, lack in your value and your self-worth. And all the while, what you don't realize, it's projection. You spent this entire time, this entire lifetime, and the thing that I've said in some of my readings, and I've actually heard in some other things too, is Scorpio, for the first time in your life, I know I've said that numerous times to you and maybe even some other signs. Scorpio, when I tell you tonight, 17 on the clock, those sevens, for the first time in your life, there is no doubting that. Because what is happening, this transformation that we always talk about, I'm almost sick of that word. Isn't that crazy as a Scorpio myself, that I'm sick of hearing transformation? Scorpio, you're not just transforming anymore. You're not just rising from the ashes. You're not just gaining your wings. You are ascending. You are evolving. You are growing. You are morphing. You are waking up from the fucking matrix that you have lived in your entire life. And again, while all of these external situations are catalyst for this growth, or maybe the way that you became conditioned to begin with, or what you believed, it's not about them anymore. It's about you. It's about the internal work that you're doing for yourself. That's nothing that anybody else can touch. Nobody else gets credit for that. Nobody gets a pat on the back for that. Nobody gets to tell you that you could have done it better. You're doing it at your own time, your own speed, with your own realizations, with your own experience, and gaining the fucking insight and wisdom that nobody else gets. A lot of you could be in a space right now where you have these conversations with people, maybe about your spiritual experiences, or just how you feel, your beliefs, the things that you're questioning in life. And they may look at you like you're speaking Greek. You may feel like nobody understands where you're coming from right now. Scorpio, all of these people of your past who have downplayed, degraded, minimized all of the things that you've done. And I don't care if you got on a treadmill and ran a mile and you had never been on a treadmill in your life. I remember the first time, now mind you, at one point in my life, use me as the example, I always do. I was almost 200 pounds. And I was married at the time, and we were doing this health committee thing, or whatever the hell it was now. And we had to participate in a 5K. That's 3.2 miles. The only place I had been walking to out of depression and ridiculousness and a horrible marriage was to the refrigerator. I shit you not. And I thought, I'm going to die. I'm going to walk this thing this god-awful rendezvous around town, and I'm going to die on the way there. I was mortified by the idea that I was going to have to walk 3.2 miles. Terrible, isn't it? And we did it. I did it. Somehow, by the grace of the holy, I managed to get through that. That was such a moment of accomplishment for me. Here I am, at the worst in my life I had ever been, for multiple reasons. And I managed to do something that for weeks, months, I dreaded the idea of having to do because I thought I was going to die. I remember telling a couple of people, and they're like, oh, you did that? Yeah. I'm pretty proud of myself for accomplishing that because I didn't think I was going to be able to do it. And there was like, I had all this glory in my heart of all the things in that moment that I remember walking and thinking I'm going to die. And I remember sleeping all evening that night. I was exhausted. But I was proud of myself because I didn't think I had it in me. So then when I'm sharing this experience with others and they're just like, well, yeah, this one time, blah, 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 blah. It was almost like the experience didn't matter to them. And maybe it didn't. And that's, you know, it was my experience, not theirs. But to the ones closest to me, like, well, shit, I don't think I could do that. Good job. You know, there was just nothing coming in for it. A little disheartening, right? Anyhow, I don't know why I went off on a tangent about that. Maybe that's something you're trying to do. You can do it. If I can do it, you can do it. But the point of this, Scorpio, is all of those feelings. It's about the projection. And it's the things that you took to heart because you being the emotional depth that you are, you feel everything, right? You feel it all. What your heart heard, what your mind listened to and believed, what you internalized was that you weren't worthy. Your achievements didn't matter. The effort, more than anything, Scorpio, the effort in which you put in didn't matter. That is probably the most disheartening thing. I'm going to read to you what I wrote from Spirit directly as they were communicating with me on this earlier. You internalized not feeling worthy. These people didn't think you were unworthy. Now hear me in that line. These people didn't think you were unworthy. Scorpio, they looked at you and knew what you were capable of. Their insecurities, their projection was a reminder to them of what they weren't capable of. Do you think they're going to say that out loud to you and admit that to you? Fuck no. Rather, quite the opposite. They knew you were, and probably so far, I was apparently mixing words here, and probably so far back as a child, they were projecting. So again, you look at all of these people that have been in and out of your life. I don't care if it's been 2 months. I don't care if it's been 20 years. I don't care if it's your parents. It's been your entire fucking life. It's a projection. You represented something to them that was missing within them. Something missing from within themselves. You were where they placed their anger, frustrations, shortcomings. And in this, you began to internalize and believe that you, Scorpio, were unworthy. The truth be told, they thought equally the opposite. Ironically enough, as I was writing this down, I happened to flip something up otherwise. And I seen the 6 and the 9 put together, yin yang, that balancing energy. That equal and opposite reaction that I keep bringing up in these readings for whatever reason. It keeps coming up. They knew, Scorpio, what it was that you were capable of. They knew you would be and could do so much more. This was their greatest fear. You know, a lot of us have seen that adage, not the adage, but the meme. There's the word, the meme. On whether it's Facebook or some, TikTok or whatever the hell people are absorbing. And it says that there are times that our children are born into this world with older souls than we are. Scorpio, the old soul, who would have thought? You came into this world with a deeper sense of understanding than the people who, respect your elders. Not saying don't, right? But some people can walk around this earth for 90 years and be completely ignorant to anything that's ever happened in their life and why. And here you are, young, figuring out life, lacking the experience in this particular matrix and this video game bullshit that we participate in every day. And you understand more, you feel more than they could ever have fathomed in their lifetime. Old soul, Scorpio, old soul. All of the shitty things that they've done to you over the years, all the projections, it's been a direct reflection of what they were lacking. I'm going to go back here to the next screenshot that I took. It is the reflections of the beliefs that have been cemented into your head by others, and later by yourself, Scorpio. Those very belief systems of not feeling worthy, not feeling accomplished, not feeling good enough. All of those things placed in your head. Do you ever see, again, there's that little thing, meme, or whatever you want to call them, where there's this child and the cap of his head is open, and there's a parent or an elder sitting there spewing all of these awful negative things into his head. And he believes it. That's what he identifies as. Worthless, useless, lazy, pathetic. Every negative fucking word that you could ever think of. Stupid. Dumb. You name it. Spirit just said so many of you just got triggered. All of those awful things. That's what you began to believe. Let's fast forward here, Scorpio. Now take a look at your partnerships, your work situations, lovers, friends, the people you found yourself drawn to over the years. How many times can you go back? And I'm going to tell you, Scorpio, I think a lot of you deal with narcissists. Narcissists are something we hear quite a bit these days, right? Not everybody has dealt with them, but I will say that I think everybody's got a narcissistic bone in their body. It's which side of it you're going to fully embrace, the good or the bad. Release the ego, step into the self. It's a choice. Free will choice always, Scorpio. But that word gets tossed around a lot. But I will say this to you. I think there is a very, very large part of the Scorpio collective that have dealt with narcissists. Because I don't think that many other signs could dive to the psychological depths, maybe Aquarius, maybe, to understand how the narcissistic mind actually works. They can have that experience and then genuinely understand the whys, the hows, because Scorpio, that's who you are. You want to know when, where, how, what, why people think the way they do, why they act the way they do, how it comes down to that, right? It is that taboo thing that lives on the other side. What is that other devil, that other demon on the flip during this transformation, experiencing that darkness, right, Scorpio? You can go there. You can deal with the dark. Christ, you are the dark. Pardon the C word there. Anywho. I'm not even sure where that came from. Usually not a word in my vocabulary. Sorry. No disrespect on that. But Scorpio, you think back to all of these people, these experiences, these situations, and I would guarantee the majority of you have been told something along the lines of, you can't do it without me. You'll never have anything without me. How do you think you got where you are? And I will say, take that phrase and play with it a little bit. Think about growing up with your parents. Saying something like, well, I put a roof over your head. I clothe you, I feed you. Guess what, dear parent? When you decided to act animalistic and create life, and I agreed to this soul connection to come into this body and this experience and have you as my parent, yes, I signed up for this experience to learn these lessons attached to you. However, in this 3D world, that's your job. Why are you going to guilt me when you took on that responsibility? See what I mean? So, take those words in whatever form they had been spoken to you. But where it was that you owed somebody else something, that without that person, without the things that they had done, Scorpio, you were a nobody. You would never be anything more than a nobody. Again, projection, because Scorpio, the reality to this is very simple. They seen a strength in you, whether it was the tenacity, the willpower, the drive, the smarts, the intellect, the vivacious, just, I don't know, maybe even just a case of the fuck it's, and they couldn't find it in them, a bone that said, well, fuck it then. I don't know, whatever you stand for, Scorpio. There was something in you that they saw that they needed. They lived off of it, they breathed off of it. And for as much as you are a fixed sign and you like your sense of control, you had control in your own way, but probably yet very submissive to those kinds of energies, to those kinds of people, those personalities. Because why? Scorpio loves, cares, gives, endures, goes to the ends of the earth, and will do it over and over and over again until you have burnt yourself out beyond belief. And then it is a case of Scorpio's gone silent and is done. Never again are we going to do this. Fair enough. Maybe not with that person, but you've ended up repeating it again and again somewhere. I've talked a lot about in the Scorpio readings about the subtle signs that Spirit's giving you. I keep telling you Spirit is being graceful with you, or being softer, a little more delicate and compassionate with you. Because Scorpio, it's like you had the hard knock lessons. You had those fucking tower moments that were earth-shattering and brought you to your knees. And Spirit was just trying to remind you where you've come from, why you've endured what you've endured, shaking you the fuck awake to realize, to truly realize what you were put here to do. What it is that you are immensely capable of. It wasn't them that you needed. It was you that they needed. There's a big difference. Again, projection. Now, I will say this to you. Stay humble, right, Scorpio? Stay humble in what it is that you're doing. We're not perfect people. I don't care what sign you are. There's not a single one of us in this world that is perfect. We are perfectly imperfect human beings. But let's fast forward to present day. Scorpio, are you finding yourself in a situation right now where that internal process is peaking? That you have felt so many recent timeline shifts that You look back to the beginning of April, before it is our blah, 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 blah. As eclipse season was rolling in, as all of these astrological changes were happening, do you even know who you are anymore? And I'm not saying this in a bad way. I'm saying this in a really amazing sort of way. You go back a simple month ago. You could probably look back to your text messages, your Facebook posts, Instagram, conversations you had, events that were taking place, and think about the thought process you had alone during that period of time. That Scorpio is not the same Scorpio sitting here right now. Not in the least. There has been some kind of immense growth, Scorpio. Call it transformation if you want. But it's not just transformation, Scorpio. It is you digging to the roots, to the exceptional depths of spaces within your soul. That it's like you're resurrecting and pulling out all of this shit. You ever see, like with Reiki, I do Reiki, right? I perform Reiki for clients. And I've had a couple of clients over the years that I could just keep pulling gunk and gunk and gunk and gunk out of them. Whatever spirit compels me to do during that session, I just pulled and pulled and pulled, and it's like sludge and knots and pulling out shit that has been in there for, oh God, lifetime after lifetime. Scorps, you've been doing that every day since eclipse season. Your body itself right now might feel burnout, exhausted. You might feel sick. Scorpio, you are going through the purge of a lifetime right now. And when we think of purging, we talk about cleaning out our house, feng shui, organizing your closet, saying what you feel, telling people what you think. None of those things compare to what you are doing for yourself right now when it comes to purging. Your body could be creating water, physical exercise and activity, a place to just, I don't even know, maybe you've never boxed in your life, but all of a sudden you've got all this anger, you just want to punch a wall. Like, just shit wants to come out of your body. Your body is trying to purge every negative emotion, every awful thing. Some of you, and P.S., I'm not a doctor, right? Heart palpitations, anxiety attacks right now. Headaches, tension, sore muscles, joint pain. Everything, and as I say this, it's like the DNA, your cellular structures are releasing things within your body that have been stored there for your entire life. And you wonder why you feel like hell right now. Why don't I have any energy? Why am I tired? Why am I awake at 2 a.m.? Why am I getting up so early? Why am I sleeping in so late? Now, obviously, if you've got some significant health things, by all means, go see a medical provider, because I am not a doctor. But when you look at it from the holistic standpoint, Scorps, all of that emotional turmoil that you internalized and believed that you were not capable of because someone else told you and you bought that bullshit story, that has lived in every cellular structure in your body. It has corrupted your mind. It has fed your soul lie after lie after lie after lie about who you thought you were based upon somebody else, and you bought that shit hook, line, and sinker. You are going through the purge of a fucking lifetime. You may be seeing your relationships with certain people. Doesn't have to just be romantic. Changing. Where you once tolerated certain things, where you did some sort of self-sacrifice, Scorpio, You're not doing that. You're letting go of the fear of rejection. You're letting go of the fear of even self-sabotaging, in the sense that, yeah, this might hurt, but I'm going to be okay. Or you're just doing it. You've thought about it, very, very much up in your head, thought about it. But then there's something in there where the thing that might have held you back before, whatever that fear was, all of a sudden you're just doing it. And it's, for some of you, you'd feel almost numb about it because you're tired. Tired on every level. You're just tired. You don't want to do it anymore. Scorpio, what's really, truly happening within is an internal understanding, a soul level, deep beyond anything that the human mind could imagine, that is breaking free of the conditioning and the matrix that you've believed in. Your life will not be the same. And who knows, in 2 weeks from now, you might hear me say in another video, Scorpio, oh Scorpio, your life will never be the same again. Because it won't. You are going to keep evolving through this. You are going to keep changing and shifting, growing, morphing. This isn't just transformation. This is evolution. This is ascension. This is cutting through lies, manipulation, hurt, pain, unhealed traumas, unresolved inner childhood conflict and wounds. Scorpio, you're becoming boldly fearless in the wake of all of these changes that are happening for you. And I think that it's happening so quickly, that weekly cycle thing that I talked about, that you don't even know where it's coming from within you. Because I think if you went back even 6 months ago, things could be coming full circle and making more sense right now. But 6 months ago, the way you're handling yourself in this very moment, you never could have done that before. It's not where you were. It's not who you were in that moment. You were being prepped by Spirit for these changes. Spirit is saying to be a light and to be a guide to others in their time of need. There is a very, and I can't help but say it, there is a very large part of the Scorpio collective that have come here to change the world by way of ripple effect and doing good. And that good starts within you. This is no longer about other people. Where you put everybody and everything else first, Scorpio, it's no longer about them. It's about you. I did Cancer's video this morning, and it said like the freedom to choose you or something like that. And I think I even said in that, I felt like the water signs were going through something, and here we are, Scorpio. Sit down for a cup of coffee and a balcony break, and Spirit says, let's go. Here I am delivering these messages, 43 minutes in later. I am going to pull a couple of cards, but I trust Spirit's direction. For you, you could be becoming more instinctful to your intuition and going, I trust myself a little more. I trust my higher self a little more. I know when it's fear or if it's my guide Spirit talking to me and telling me to get my shit together. Scorpio, you're transmuting fear. You're transmuting the illusion. Scorpio, I'm going to repeat it. I dare you more than ever to believe in yourself. to believe in anything that, procrastination is fear, right? Holding ourselves back from successfully completing something is fear. Because I think for a lot of you, if you complete something, you don't have an attachment to it anymore. And how and who and what defines you if you don't have those things? Or you just don't want to deal with it because you've been through too much. I just don't want to, I can't handle it anymore. Scorpio, there's a lot of loose ends in your world that are getting tied up. And I feel like with each loose end that you tie up, you may not necessarily see it, acknowledge it, feel it in that moment. But there is some kind of glory on the other side of that where your soul is going, hell yeah. What's next? You're making big, bold moves, Scorps. But you have to believe in yourself. And I think just by the grace of God, we'll call it, that's where you're being led right now. Trust it. All right, let's get a couple of cards for Scorpio Spirit. What do they need to know? My eyes feel like they have sandpaper in them right now. They're so tired. Faith coming out in the reverse. Lead by faith, not by sight, Scorpio. That's all you need to do. Integrity. That is your truth. So long as you move forward in positive intention. If you step out into this world to do something malicious to somebody, you are creating karma for yourself. If you walk into a room and you say, I'm going to do the very best that I can, and you walk in there with the goal to do the right thing, the next right thing, whatever the right thing is for you, it is to walk into a space and leave everything better than you found it. Not to harm others, hurt others, manipulate others. When you create harmony through your intentions, you're acting in integrity. You can't lose, Scorpio. For Scorps, give me one more. Please, Spirit, one more. One more for Scorpio. There it is. Be kind to yourself. I think I told Cancer the same thing. Patience. Lots of blues here. And those blues, that throat, that communication, leads to the green, which is the heart. And the heart in the chakras, I've said it before, is the bridge to the internal and the external world. Lead with your heart and be patient with your heart. Spirit is saying for some of you, you're trying to find somebody or connect with people who are going to be patient with your heart. Because Scorpio, I got the chills, honesty at the bottom. Spirit said you are learning to love again. And it does not have to be romantic love. Because love lives within everything. Period. Okay? Honesty. It's you getting real and honest with yourself about what has stopped you from believing and seeing in yourself. I think it's kind of funny. Like my eyes have been okay today. I've talked about these allergies for weeks now, right? I could see plain all day today. And then I sit down to do this reading and my eyes get dry and gritty. And I feel like I can't even see myself to speak to you right now. What is it that you're not seeing, Scorpio? What is it that you just didn't want to see? Because, when we start to change this understanding, or we evolve in this understanding of other people and what their true intentions were with us, that maybe they were lacking integrity, that becomes a real hard pill to swallow. Because we're no longer seeing this version with the rose-colored glasses on that we wanted to believe these people were in our lives. They're coming off, and now we have to see it for the reality in which it sits in front of us. And then decide if our heart wants to engage with this horseshit. Because if you do, Scorpio, you're going to sell yourself short every fucking time. It's the inevitable. All right. What a message. It is so late. Oh my God. Let me see. I'm going to grab a couple cards and then I'm closing this out. Scorpio, consider this a bonus. I'll do a May reading too. But, consider this a bonus. Alright, for Scorpio Spirit, what does Scorpio need to know? What is part of this message for the Scorpio Collective that you've brought to me? That's way too many there. Fifth ray, though, I'll say this. Scorpio. 4244. Fifth ray of intellectual knowledge. Seventh ray of ritual, order, and ceremony. I talked about all those people around you, did I not? Just take a look at these faces. Do you see these faces? That anger, that projection, the aggression. How dare Scorpio know more than me? You know, we come into this existence with this innocence. I mean, this is everything that I just talked about. That innocence connected to you. And then you look at all of these people. The fighting, the arguing, the disorder, the chaos. They don't even know why they act the way they do. They just do. It's easier to not like you because they're not happy with themselves. It's easier to blame you because they don't want to have to freaking take accountability. And there you are in your purest form. The innocence of the child itself that joins this world and then morphing into this adult. This brilliantly, brightly illuminated adult that everybody just sits back and goes, why them? Now maybe Scorpio did the work. Did you? I felt this with this card, the seventh ray of ritual, order, and ceremony. And then I placed it face down in 44-4, by the way. So 444 could be very, very significant for you. I heard graduation, Scorpio. This is a graduation with the ethereal realms. This is a graduation of soul growth. This is a graduation of all things brand new that live within you. And pardon me, is there some nudity on here and we don't want to get booted, right? Or our fingers smacked. But this evolution, orbs of light, she's reaching up to that light. And that light is supporting her. Him, them, they. Scorpio, the power of the divine masculine, you are the emperor to your world right now. You are taking back power and control. And not in a way that you have to go out there and say it or do it or, you know, and be very apparent about it. This is a deep, deep internal process that's happening. This isn't, I just can't help but say, I don't feel like the word transformation even makes sense for this. It doesn't feel like it does. I mean, I'm not knocking fourth ray of harmony. You have harmony on here. Scorpio, harmony is coming into your life. Balance where your soul sings to the heavens. Because you have not felt such peace in your life. And it is all that you have ever freaking wanted. 6 and 6, Scorpio. I love this for you. And I don't think most people could understand what this is going to do for you. You may feel like you're going to have a hard time connecting to people for a while. You may teeter-totter with friends, family, relationships, feeling disconnected again. Sitting in the darkness of that shit because that's what you know. But Scorpio, I feel like you're stepping into, Spirit is saying, the true definition of light. I think we even talked about that at some point. Taking back control of yourself. First ray of power. I want you guys to know too, when I pull these cards like this, I literally split the deck. I let my hands guide me. I stop. I split the deck. I take a look at what Spirit's trying to relay to me. That's all I do. You are stepping back into that power, that space of intelligence that runs deeper than you've ever gone before. But Scorpio, in this next chapter, in this change that's occurring within you, I mean, get a pen and paper, write it down, put it on your phone screen. Let that be your little background display. Put it on a sticky note and stick it on your dashboard in your car. Scorpio, Johnny, June, Jane, Jack, whatever your name is. Put it on a sticky note. Scorpio, I dare you to believe in yourself. Scorpio, challenge you to believe in yourself for 21 to 30 days. It's 21 days to create a habit, 21 days to quit it. Spirit's saying too, all of the things that you've done over the years to harm your body. Drugs, addiction, alcohol, sex, meaningless connections, eating unhealthy, sleeping out or sleeping in late, not taking care of yourself. Those are habits that you acquired by way of believing this bullshit story that you were always going to fall short. You were always going to come up short no matter what you did. It was never going to be enough. You would never be enough unless it was attached to something or somebody else. All lies. Nothing, and I mean nothing, but immense lies. And now you're cracking the code. You're changing it all. Scorpio, you truly will never be the same. And probably in another year from now, you'll truly never be the same again. Because you're going to continue to see things from a fresh new perspective. But you're not transforming, you're evolving. You're ascending. You're waking the fuck up. No more playing games with my heart, right? No more mental head games either. No more manipulation, no more lies, no more of the Scorpio doesn't know Scorpio's worth. Go back and hug that inner child. Go back and love that version of yourself that was so broken, so hurt, so unaware. Love that person, accept that person, thank that person, and get ready. This new phase doesn't come without challenges, Scorpio. You know that better than anybody. But when you find value in who you are and what you're capable of and what you've come here to do, and you hold firm in that, that's really hard for someone else to discredit that. They can try. But this time, the mentally sharp Scorpio, the emotionally sound Scorpio, I've got my shit together, Scorpio. You're not going to be moved. Doubt might creep in every now and again, but you're not going to be moved. All right, guys, I'm leaving it there. I hope you found that Spirit's messages were in divine timing. I'm sending you all so much love. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you again soon. Bye.